probe reveals, let me go across to Brinda Adige also joining us on the phone line. Brinda, what do you make of this? You know, we've seen in the recent past how several private airlines have been pulled up for several different reasons. Most of them have been technical snags, mid-air scares that people had to face. But this one is extremely shocking. The fact that this vehicle could make its way to a place, a spot right under the nose of the aircraft.
You're absolutely right. Not only is this shocking and appalling, but it is so dangerous because you don't know who the driver is and what are his intentions, and this could easily be a terrorist also. What the security lapses by the particular airline must be questioned, because there seems to be no security diligence that should have been done, which is being done, and which means it's putting the passengers at risk of this particular airplane, but also people from other airplanes where they may be going. Everybody has been put at a risk, and this is absolutely unacceptable, because this man has gone through security and crossed all the limits, and he has been able to come all the way under the aeroplane. This
absolutely. Brinda Adige, thank you very much for joining us on the broadcast. Let's go across to our senior editor, Madhudas Gopalakrishnan. Madhav, isn't this the responsibility of the Airport Management Authority and the ground staff?
Well, certainly, of course, this is a very, very shocking incident that has taken place. There's a proximity that these aircraft are allowed up to certain paths, and they certainly cannot come right below the aircraft, the manner in which this particular vehicle is seen. And certainly the ground staff and all those who drive vehicles, including the buses and other vehicles, the cargo vehicles, etc., are all given special training as to the paths under which they can actually drive in a particular airport, and which are the paths that they have to avoid, because they cannot obviously take the vehicles, for instance, either close to the runways, and or even in the taxiways. Only certain areas where the hangars, where the aircraft are parked, are they allowed to go close to the aircraft, and only up to a certain distance. So this raises some very serious questions. Even though the breath analyzer test may have been proved negative as far as this driver is concerned, certainly it is going to raise some very serious questions, because it is not one but two airlines that appear to be involved. The aircraft, of course, being that of Indigo, and the ground vehicle being that of Go First, from what appears to be there in the pictures. So we will have to see what the aviation regulator particularly has to say as far as this is concerned.
All right, so let's take in a word from one of the aviation experts joining us on this broadcast. We have Mr. Damania here with us on Times Now. Mr. Damania, what do you make of this incident? We're keeping up with those visuals. We see this car, which has a yellow number plate, move in very, very close to the nose of the plane. It's right under the nose of the plane. That's the angle that we're putting out for our viewers. What do you make of the entire situation, sir?
No, I think it's a very dangerous incident, and this shouldn't have happened, because these drivers are specially trained drivers. They have special permissions to drive inside the airport, and I do not know how this incident has occurred. It must be somebody's negligence, and I'm sure the negligence, I think the mistake should be the part of the person who was driving the car. And I'm sure the airport authority will look into this and take very strict action, suspend the license or penalize the airline. So I think we'll have to wait and watch. But these things are have to be very regulated, and I don't understand how this incident could have occurred. It's very serious.
Mr. Damania, if you could also throw some more light on the protocol which is followed. You know, we understand that cars do go near the aircraft at a safe distance, because they have to carry the cabin crew with them. What are the guidelines should be followed? Also, whose responsibility is it to monitor the movement of such vehicles?
Absolutely clear where the car should be parked, what is the distance. It's just not that any person can drive the car anywhere and park anywhere. These drivers have to pass special tests, and there's a system followed. Everything is laid down in black and white. So it is not anybody can take the car, park anywhere and do whatever they want. It is definitely a serious mistake, and people should be taken to task on the subject.
And then where does the accountability lie, Mr. Damania? Because, you know, the ground staff is usually monitoring the situation. Like you said, there's a protocol in place, and it is followed with the process that needs to be looked at. So it's not like, you know, there's not a proper briefing. People don't go about it with a proper plan in place. If this was allowed to happen, given that this was obviously negligence on part of someone or deliberately done so, where do you think the problem really went?
I don't think it must be deliberately done. It looks like a human error to me. By sheer common sense, it looks like a complete case of human error.
Okay.
And who is responsible? Because there's a manual for everything. There's a protocol laid down, so I don't understand how this could have happened. because an aircraft damage could be a very serious issue, and the airline could have suffered very badly. God forbid, if something further happened, it could have been more serious. So let's look into it, what the report comes in. No, from the Airport Authority and DGCA both.
Right. Now, from the point of view of a passenger, Mr. Damania, I'm sure you understand how this, causes a major scare.
No, of course it causes a major scare, but now we'll have to just wait and watch who's responsible and how it happened. No. Okay?
All right, Mr. Damania, thank you very much
for
putting things into perspective. That was the aviation expert Parvez Damania explaining the protocols and also demanding a probe. According to the reports that we are getting, and Arunil also confirming a probe definitely has been ordered. DGCA has ordered a probe into this incident.
So the DGCA will be probing the incident, will be investigating the entire incident, and of course answers will be sought of who is it that was responsible and how is it that this was allowed to happen. But yes, so far we've not heard from both Indigo and Go First, because remember that car with that yellow number plate belongs to Go First. That's what the label on it says. So none of those responses that have come in so far from either Indigo or Go First. So yet we're waiting for those details to come in as well. But for the moment, what we can tell you is that the DGCA has said that it will be investigating the matter.